Remembering a murder victim. Now at 10, those who knew this young woman, 24-year-old Maleah Bess, are honoring the life she lived. The apartment complex manager was killed while at work at a Jackson apartment complex. Thanks for joining us here tonight at 10. I'm Megan West.
And I'm Troy Johnson. Jackson police have her husband in custody tonight, accusing him of her murder. The situation unfolded at Westwood Apartments just after 11 this morning. Police said that Bess's husband, 52-year-old Ron Allen, surrendered more than 2 hours after the standoff began. Chief Joseph Wade said it took several surrounding agencies to arrest Allen.
35th homicide of the year compared to 71 this time last year. We've shown a drastic reduction in homicides, but again, this is domestic related. This is a husband taking his wife's life, then putting all of these other people's lives in danger, including law enforcement. Very sad day, but I'm glad that we were able to mitigate this situation without any further loss of life.
Friends and family are mourning the loss of Bess. Those closest to her say the relationship had become dangerous, and now they're sharing her story in hopes of helping someone else.
I legitimately cannot believe this. I will remember this day for the rest of my life.
This is the chilling tale of Ron Christopher Allen and the day he decided to murder the woman he promised to love forever, turning Maleah's workplace into a deadly crime scene. What pushed Ron to fire bullets at his newlywed wife? Why does a husband become a murderer? What drives a 52-year-old man to decide that if he can't have her, no one can? This wasn't just a heated argument, it was a cold, calculated choice. This isn't your typical tragic domestic violence story. It's what happens when love twists into obsession, when control overshadows care, and when a woman's choice to leave becomes a fatal sentence. Let's dig into the shocking truth. Welcome to the True Crime Journal. Please support us by subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell. Maleah Bess was just 24, a recent Jackson State University graduate who left Chicago for Mississippi to build her dreams. Friends described her as wise beyond her age, driven, and always caring for others. At Westwood Apartments, where she worked as a leasing agent and property manager, Maleah was known for her professionalism and big heart. Her daily routine showed her dedication, arriving early, handling maintenance requests, and ensuring residents' needs were always met. Beyond her day job, Maleah had big dreams of being her own boss. On social media, she went by Maleah Shalise and ran an online boutique blog called Maleah Shalise Creates. In January 2024, she launched a Shopify store selling planners and ebooks to help people kickstart their businesses, manage money, and stay organized. Her Instagram bio summed up her fire: launch that business, grow your wealth, keep it together. She'd jot down her daily tasks in her planner, check emails, follow up on apartment applications, and tackle work orders to keep the property running smoothly. When a new tenant was moving in, she'd huddle with maintenance to go over work orders or prep for move-ins, making sure everything was perfect. Those close to her saw a woman bursting with ambition and grit. Maleah was carving out her future, one determined step at a time, until Ron Christopher Allen stormed into her life and shattered those dreams with violence. Behind her polished work ethic and warm smile hid a growing fear at home. The woman who guided others to organize their lives was losing grip on her own. Ron, 52 when he married Maleah, was 28 years older than her. A father of 3 from past relationships, his world was a stark contrast to Maleah's rising star. To everyone else, their Valentine's Day wedding in 2025 seemed like a dreamy love story. But in just a few months, that dream would unravel into a nightmare. Court records painted a dark picture of Ron Christopher Allen's past, filled with drug struggles and legal troubles. He faced a DUI charge from the year before and was supposed to pay fines, but he fell behind as he battled addiction after hip surgery. In court after the murder, Allen claimed he'd finished a 28-day rehab program in New Jersey for opioid addiction. He said he'd been sober since July 3, 2025, barely a month before he ended Maleah's life. While Maleah poured her heart into her career and her online boutique, Allen's job situation was murky, with no clear details in public records. What stood out was his growing need to control his young wife. The 28-year age gap between them had Maleah's friends and family worried from the start. Their fears turned out to be heartbreakingly real as the marriage fell apart in the months after their Valentine's Day vows. On February 14, 2025, Maleah glowed in her wedding dress, sharing joyful social media posts with captions full of love and hashtags about forever and fresh starts. But by July, that forever had crumbled after just 5 months. Friends said Maleah's marriage to Ron was troubled from the very beginning. Manisha Simmons, one of Maleah's closest friends, shared the alarming truth. Maleah moved out of the home she shared with Ron because she feared for her safety. She didn't want to leave him, but she had no choice to protect herself, Simmons said. It was clear Maleah felt unsafe even sleeping beside him. Her apartment was supposed to be her safe space, but it quickly started feeling like another trap. In the week before the murder, Ron couldn't handle being apart from her. He started showing up at Maleah's workplace without warning, acting possessive and aggressive. Witnesses said his behavior was harassing, turning the Westwood Apartments leasing office, Maleah's professional sanctuary, into a stage for his intimidation. His jealousy grew like a poison, and his desperation fueled his actions. Meanwhile, the internet spun a different story, one built on lies but charged with emotion. Social media buzzed with rumors that Maleah was cheating with a maintenance worker at the complex or had stolen $70,000 from Ron. These claims were never backed up by police, but they were enough for Ron. In his mind, they justified everything. He saw himself as the wronged hero, not a man consumed by jealousy. Most chilling of all, the day before the shooting, Ron visited one of Maleah's roommates. "He was at my house yesterday, sitting on my couch," the roommate recalled. "We talked about them trying to fix their relationship. Nothing seemed off. I didn't sense any trouble," the roommate said. But less than 24 hours after that calm chat, Ron Christopher Allen would murder Maleah. Police say the final spark was Ron learning Maleah had started seeing someone new. This relationship was Maleah's bold step toward a fresh start, a move toward freedom that Ron couldn't stand. As Police Chief Wade later put it, this was about someone who couldn't handle their partner moving on. The internet loves a juicy story, especially one that points fingers at the victim. If you're not ready to subscribe and hear the raw, unfiltered truth, let me know why in the comments. Tell me why these stories don't matter enough to follow. I'm genuinely curious. Time was running out as July 31st approached. Everyone was caught up in the drama, blind to the eerie calm before the storm. That Thursday morning at Westwood Apartments started like any other. Maleah arrived at the leasing office, ready to show apartments, process applications, and help residents. She had no clue it would be her final day. Around 11:30 a.m., a flood of 911 calls hit the Jackson Police Department. Reports of an active shooter at Westwood Apartments sent officers speeding to 3100 Robinson Road. When they arrived, they faced a horrifying scene. Maleah had been shot multiple times inside the leasing office. A witness heard the first gunshot and opened the office door to see Maleah clutching her side. When the door shut, more shots rang out. 7 in total. 7 intentional pulls of the trigger. But the danger wasn't over yet. Ron Christopher Allen had locked himself inside the leasing office, still holding his gun, still dangerously unpredictable. A nerve-wracking 3-hour standoff unfolded, needing multiple law enforcement agencies to bring it to an end. As word of the shooting spread, Westwood Apartments residents watched in horror as their home turned into a crime scene. Police cars swarmed the complex, and officers set up a tight perimeter around the leasing office. Inside, Ron stayed barricaded with his weapon. Outside, a careful plan came together. The Jackson Police Department teamed up with the Hinds County Sheriff's Department, Clinton Police, Byram Police, and Capitol Police. SWAT teams moved into position, ready for action. Hostage negotiators tried to reach Ron, calling him over and over, but he kept hanging up. During this tense standoff, something truly chilling happened. Friends worried about Maleah dialed her phone. Ron answered, coldly admitting he had killed her. His voice showed no panic or regret, just a stark confession of his crime. Police Chief Joseph Wade later commended his team's patience. "We showed incredible restraint and focus," he said. "We could have stormed in, risking a shootout, but we held back." Negotiators kept trying, calling Ron despite his refusals. After about 3 hours, he finally said he'd give up. He walked out of the leasing office and was arrested without further trouble. When police entered the office, they found Maleah's body and the murder weapon. Witnesses noticed Ron had blood on his clothes as he was led away. It was Maleah's blood on his clothes. Ron Christopher Allen, the suspect in the deadly standoff on Robinson Street, is now locked up, with no chance of bail. In court that morning, prosecutors revealed grim new details about how he murdered his wife. Jackson police shared more. 2 witnesses called Maleah's phone after the shooting to check on her, and Allen answered, coldly admitting he'd already killed her. The court also brought up Allen's past DUI charges. He spoke about his battle with sobriety, saying he'd just returned from weeks of rehab in New Jersey. Stories like this can save lives, so please share them. The red flags Maleah faced are out there in countless relationships today. Subscribe to the True Crime Journal to help these vital lessons reach more people. Like this video to spread the message further. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could protect you or someone you care about. Most importantly, share this video with those who need to hear it, maybe a friend whose partner shows up uninvited at their job, a family member in a troubling relationship, or a coworker who's suddenly cut off from everyone. One share, one conversation, one moment of awareness could mean the difference between life and death. Because Maleah deserved so much better. And so does everyone watching this story unfold. The news of the deadly standoff ripped through Jackson like wildfire. For those who knew Maleah, the shock hit like a tidal wave. For the wider community, it was a grim wake-up call about how domestic violence can spiral into the worst possible tragedy. The day after the shooting, July 31, 2025, Ron Christopher Allen faced his first court appearance in Jackson Municipal Court. An officer testified about the green revolver Ron used and the multiple gunshot wounds on Maleah's body. Judge June Hardwick refused to grant Ron bail, pointing to the horrific nature of the crime. He was sent to the Hinds County Detention Center to wait for his next court dates. In the hearing, Ron talked about his recent addiction struggles after hip surgery and his time in rehab. He claimed he'd been sober since early July, just weeks before he killed Maleah. His words didn't move the judge, who stood firm on denying bond. As Ron was led away, facing what could be years in court, the community he'd shaken began grappling with the aftermath. For Westwood Apartments residents, the bloodstains at the leasing office entrance were a haunting reminder. One resident said, "Our community will never feel the same," a feeling echoed by many. After Maleah's murder, her friends and neighbors started piecing together the warning signs that had been there during her short marriage to Ron. The 28-year age gap between them had raised red flags from the start. While age differences don't always mean trouble, this one created a power imbalance that grew clearer as time went on. Ron's history of drug abuse and legal issues was another glaring warning sign. Ron's missed court dates and ongoing battle with addiction hinted at a deep instability that eventually exploded into violence. Most striking was Maleah's choice to move out of their shared home. She saw the danger and took steps to protect herself, but Ron's harassment at her workplace proved that leaving an abuser doesn't always stop the threat. Manisha Simmons, Maleah's close friend, shared a powerful warning: even if you're not scared, even if you think they'd never hurt you, take their threat seriously the first time. Her words point to a critical missed chance, seeing verbal threats as a warning of physical violence to come. For many domestic violence victims, the leap from threatening words to deadly actions can happen fast and without warning. In the days after the murder, social media turned into a war zone of clashing stories about what caused the tragedy. Some posts claimed Maleah was having an affair with a maintenance worker at Westwood Apartments. Others said she stole about $70,000 from Ron without him knowing and was planning to divorce him. One post, from someone claiming to be Ron's nephew, stood out: "That's my uncle, and there's more to the story. She married him for money and took $70,000 from him, and more." These accusations fit a common pattern in domestic violence cases, blaming the victim to excuse the inexcusable. But none of these claims were backed up by police or brought as evidence in court. The truth, backed by police and witness accounts, was far simpler and deeply tragic. Ron Christopher Allen murdered Maleah Bess because she wanted to leave him and start a new chapter. Social media rumors show how domestic violence victims are often judged after their death, their choices picked apart while their killer's actions are brushed aside. Maleah's murder is one piece of a much larger problem of intimate partner violence in America. National statistics reveal that about 20 people are physically abused by a partner every minute in the U.S., that's over 10 million people a year. The most dangerous moment for victims is when they try to leave. Studies show a woman's risk of being killed jumps by 75% when she escapes an abusive partner, a grim reality Maleah's case brings to life. Maleah Bess was only 24 when her life ended in the Westwood Apartments leasing office. A recent Jackson State University graduate with big entrepreneurial dreams, she was full of youth, drive, and promise. Her story shouldn't have ended on July 31, 2025, with 7 gunshots from a man who claimed to love her. What makes Maleah's death so heartbreaking is that it could have been prevented. The warning signs were clear: Ron's controlling behavior, the age and power gap, his harassment at her workplace, and Maleah's choice to move out for her safety. Each was a missed chance for someone to step in. If you or someone you love is facing similar red flags, don't wait. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Tell someone you trust. Make a safety plan to protect yourself, especially since leaving an abusive relationship is the most dangerous time. Getting help from professionals can guide you through this risky period safely. Maleah deserved to keep building her career, growing her online business, and chasing her dreams. She deserved to feel safe at work and at home. She deserved a healthy love built on mutual respect, not control and obsession. As we wrap up Maleah's story, let's remember her not just as a victim of domestic violence, but as a vibrant young woman whose kindness, professionalism, and ambition touched so many lives. Let's honor her by spotting warning signs in our own communities and acting before another life is lost. For Maleah, for all victims of domestic violence, and for those still stuck in dangerous relationships, your lives matter, your safety matters, and help is out there. No one should lose their life for choosing to walk away. Maleah's story isn't just about a crime, it's a stark reminder that sometimes the killer isn't a stranger. He's the one who knows your routine, your workplace, and exactly where to find you. We send our deepest prayers and condolences to Maleah Bess's family. May you find peace and comfort in the memories you shared. Don't miss out on stories like this. Hit the subscribe button now and join our True Crime Journal community. Be sure to like, share, and comment, because your thoughts are a key part of this story. Thank you for watching until the end, and we'll see you in the next episode. Stay safe.